Thanks a lot for joining us here. Just wanted to introduce the guest I'm speaking to here. I'm not going to steal his thunder, so over to you, Josh, to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Josh King. I'm a cloud and data center management MVP. And my day job is I work for a MSP in New Zealand called Tribe, and I make up part of our what we call the tech ops team.
Okay.
So we're the back end sort of engine room that we own all the tools that everyone else uses to support our customers. So
okay,
it keeps me kind of busy.
Oh yeah. I can imagine the world's changed a lot for you in the last few years as well, right?
Yes.
Must be super excited about an Azure footprint coming to New Zealand at some point in the next few years as well.
Yes, yeah, we're already speculating about when and where and ready to jump in there.
They don't tell me those sorts of things. I know it's coming. That's about the extent of it. Cool. And I understand that you're going to be speaking at ANZ Serverless Days 2020 as well. Can you tell us a bit about what you're talking on?
Yeah, so my topic's called Azure Durable Functions. Actually, let me double check exactly the wording. So my topic's called Azure Durable Functions. Yes, PowerShell can fan out and in too. So it's a talk about Azure Durable Functions in general, what they are, and what that tag of durable actually means, as opposed to just a generic function app.
Yep.
But also how an ops focused person like myself can make use of them, and with a language that they're used to, which is PowerShell.
Okay. What with your background, obviously you've been doing this job for a while. When you look at something like durable functions, what's the sort of tools that it may have replaced or updated in your tool bag of what you might have traditionally used?
So for me, it's all about moving my code from where it used to live, which would have been a script server sitting in our virtual environment, whose job is literally just to sit there all day running scripts on a random schedule. And I've found that I can move most of those scripts, or all of those scripts, up into a function app for less running costs than the Windows license that script host was consuming.
Excellent. Well, there's a double win there, right? There's the availability and durability of the cloud environment, plus a reduced cost of actually operating it, which is awesome. And I think you're talking about durable functions, and you're talking about this idea of fan out and fan in. When I think about operational work, what sort of challenge does that solve for you, having that ability to fan out and in with durable functions?
So it allows me to crunch a lot of data really quick. But what actually got me started down this path with durable functions specifically was I went, okay, great, my scripts are in Azure, so now I can use Logic Apps to orchestrate them. And I very quickly found out that Logic Apps expecting a function to finish within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I'll be talking about this during my talk, but durable functions allow you to get around that pretty handily. So yes, as soon as I found that in, I was all in.
Plus you're writing code again, right? Instead of just doing good no-code programming. Well, we definitely have a bunch of good stuff around Power Platform and Power Automate Flow coming up in ANZ Serverless Days. But it is interesting to hear you say that, right? It's like, I think a lot of people, when they come to the cloud the first time, they're very much in that traditional mindset of, I've got to get it right first time. I have to choose the right element first time, and then if I don't do that, then I'm kind of in a pickle because I'm stuck. But your experience suggests to me that you went, this thing over here called Logic Apps allows me to do orchestration, and I can do something different with that and do it in a way I don't have to manage it. It's got this limit, which exists for a reason, but it's got a limit. How else could I solve it? And then you found durable functions, right? And luckily we've announced PowerShell support for durable functions. So you've got this other way of solving it. I think I don't know what your experience has been, but I think sometimes some people come with that fixed mindset of I've got to get it right first time.
You've got to get it perfect, or else the whole thing was a failure. But no, so what anyone will find, I think, going into Azure is there are so many different ways to do certain things. And so for me, when I started moving up to Azure, I was using automation accounts for my PowerShell scripts, because logic apps and functions, and no one of those is the right tool. And I've found that they're all just good tools to have in my tool belt, and I use them as they make sense. And stitch them all together.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Look, I think we might wrap up the kind of the official bit of our discussion there. I appreciate you having a chat with me today, Josh.
Yeah, no problem.
Make sure that if you're watching this and it's before the 4th of September 2020, that you head on over to anz.serverlessdays.io and get yourself a free ticket. If you're watching this after the event, make sure you go and check out Josh's blog. Keep an eye out for him speaking at events online. Thanks a lot for your time today, Josh.
Yep, thank you.
Speak to you again soon.
Cheers.